Hi, and welcome to Stuff to Do in Hawaii. And today, what we're going to be doing is a tour of the Sheraton Princess Kaiulani Hotel. And we're going to learn a little bit about the princess. And before we do that, though, this is, by the way, it's Christmas time here in Honolulu. And so the Princess Kaiulani usually is really decked out, but in this case, this year, because of all the problems with the pandemic and all that stuff, it's totally scaled down to where it's just basically a few Christmas trees, but it's still filled with a lot of history for Waikiki. And before we go into that, I wanted to just give you an update about the quarantine situation. Hawaii is open to tourism again. Okay, so people definitely can come and visit and do their vacations and whatever, but there is a condition. The condition is that you have to be tested up to I say, within 72 hours prior to your departure. You have to be tested for the bug, and you have to be negative. Or when you get here, you have to be put in quarantine. So you'd be spending most of your time here in quarantine if you didn't get tested prior to coming. Now, as of today, actually yesterday, or midnight, I should say, midnight of today, the the governor announced yesterday that he was reducing the 14-day quarantine to 10 days. So it is now 10 days for only those visitors who come in who were not tested. So if you didn't get tested prior to coming here, then you're subject to the 10-day quarantine. I didn't hear any mention of being able to do the test at the airport. There was some talk about that before, but recently, within the announcement, nobody mentioned anything about it. So, you come here, you're going to end up at least 10 days in quarantine. So they said that they reduced it based on research that was done. Okay, so that's the first part, is that we're now, in terms of quarantine time, it's 10 days as of today. The other news would be the eviction moratorium has been extended. So if you were are on the verge of being evicted, according to the governor, the moratorium has been extended to February 21st of next year. So you won't be they can't evict you until then. So you might have some time to get some money going and paying off your rent and such. And the other thing is that they did not extend the moratorium on vehicle safety checks. So as of right now, you have to get the safety check on your car done before the end of the year. So those are the top things regarding what's going on in Hawaii um, recently. Okay, in terms of they reduced the quarantine time, the eviction moratorium has been extended to the 21st of February, and you need to go get your safety check done before the end of the year. So there we go. Those are the top things. Another little tidbit is that they have also been the idea of a possible casino, which I'll talk about that on another video. But a possible casino might be in the works sometime in the near future. However, the topic of gaming in Hawaii has been one that's come and gone multiple times. So it's they're bringing it up now because of the economy. They think that it might be a viable thing for you know um, helping the indigenous people to make some money and maintain themselves. But we'll see. I mean that the topic again has been brought up tons of times, and you always get these people who shoot it down. Um, but anyways, let's get started on our little tour of the Princess Kaiulani Hotel. And I will tell you a little bit about it as we go. So this is the front of the Princess Sheraton Princess Kaiulani Hotel. Across the street there is the Hyatt Regency. It's all decked out in Christmas lights and its Christmas lights. And that's Kailani Street. Across the street, though, was the place where the old King's Village was. And that was really, prior to that, was the one of the houses of the king. The king had a house there. And this is the front area, front entrance to the Princess Kaiulani Hotel. And I guess you get a porter there. The guy standing on the left is a porter. Or a bell guy. The bell guy. So, he greets me as I'm coming by him. And as we come up here, this is the lobby. And if you look in the far back there, you see a guy walking. He was cleaning something, whatever. That area over there is actually an emergency room. They have some doctors in there that have their own practice. So this is a very modest decorating for the Princess Kaiulani Hotel this year. They're very modest this year. I mean, they were pretty lavish in previous years. They would have these little displays, gingerbread displays, and with little trains and little people and little dioramas kind of things. They're really cute. But this is a photograph here of the Princess Kaiulani and her home, Aina Hao it was called. And this house was actually on this property where the hotel stood once. And that's her right there, Princess Kaiulani on the right with the hat and the muumuu. And she was very fond of peacocks. So she had a whole, front yard full of peacocks. And if you see there, I think there's 3 peacocks right there in front of you. You might say, oh, I only see 2, but there's one right behind her. If you can see her, the leg. In the background there, you can see those 2 white things by the steps are, I believe those are clamshells. It could be like giant clamshells. That's what it looks like. Yeah, so this is, definitely was taken back at the turn of the century. Maybe she died in 1890 something. So she died definitely before the actual turn of the century. But she was very young when she passed away. She died of inflammatory rheumatism. I didn't know people could die of rheumatism, but, I think it was the inflammatory part of it. Anyways, this little portrait here of her, and those things on the side are, I don't know what they're called. I wish I did. But they are indicators that she was royalty. And what they would do is when they were at a procession of where she had her entourage with her, she would have like some guys, they would have like these feathered cloaks, and they would be holding these things in front, a few feet in front of her. And it was the sign that royalty was coming your way. And, you needed to get out of the way or bow down or whatever. And so, let's take a look at this picture over here. Oh, there we go. Oh, this is, her name was Miriam Like. And she was the mother of Princess Kaiulani. So, and I think she was a princess also. I don't know if she actually made it to queen, but I'm pretty sure she was a princess. And she was married to the governor, I believe, of Hawaii at the time. And his name was Archibald Cleghorn. And that wall in the background there, that just caught my eye. It's basically a collage or a collection of photographs of Princess Kaiulani and the things that she had encountered and did in her life. It's a really very educational wall too. Let's go take a little walk over here. And you see those things again on the sides, right? There's two sets. One's probably for Liliuokalani, and the other one is for the king. Now, this is Liliuokalani is the last reigning monarch of Hawaii. She was the one that was overthrown um, during that time, and it when she was overthrown, the United States came in and took control. Um, they called it like an annexation of the territory, and that's when the Hawaii became a territory, a U.S. territory. Before it actually became a state in 1959. And she was held after she was overthrown. She was held prisoner in Iolani Palace for the rest of her life. I mean, can you imagine? Can you imagine? And this is King David Kalakaua, and he was the last. He was the last male monarch to. He passed away in San Francisco. He went on a trip to California, and I think he originally went to San Diego first, and then from there he went up to San Francisco. And on the trip there, he wasn't feeling well, and next thing you know, he passed away. So they had to ship him on back here to Hawaii. But he is buried in the Royal Mausoleum, along with a lot of the other royals. I think Princess Kaiulani is buried there too. But one day maybe I'll stop by there and do a video. But yeah. So those are those things again, as I was saying, those that announces that these people were royalty, and so their entourage would carry those in, they were usually in pairs of two. Check out those lighting, isn't that kind of interesting? I don't know, it just seems a little out of place. Interesting, but it just seems a little out of place. All that silver but anyways, here it is that that wall I was telling you about that has the photographs of Princess Kaiulani. And she noticed the dress, the high-necked dress. You know, so yeah. She was half white and half Hawaiian. Now I don't personally know a lot about what she did. I know that she was educated on the mainland. I believe in England. She definitely could have been educated in England. Her first name was Victoria, by the way, and I believe she was named after the Queen of England, Queen Victoria at the time. And the Hawaii royals, they had a very good relationship with the English royals. Yeah, and I love the hat. You love the hat. It has like some ostrich feathers in it. And Hawaii actually had its own ostrich farms to where they got those feathers from. And yeah, check out that dress. That's pretty cool. For that's totally Victorian. And you'll see in the middle there's a photograph of the girl by the window. That's Princess Kaiulani. And then you'll see those buildings, like on the top you have the Capitol building in Washington. So she went to Washington. You'll see sometimes those are sometimes of English castles on the lower right. And definitely, those people in the middle are her parents. So that's Archibald Cleghorn on the left, and her mom, like a picture before, Miriam Leke. So those were her parents. And then on the left you can see that peacock, because she was very fond of those peacocks. The girl by the pillar up there. Oh, here we go. This is on the right is King David Kalakaua, and the guy in the back is that is Robert Louis Stevenson. He came here back in the day, and he was friends with the royals. He was a very famous author then. He wrote that, Treasure Island and Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde stories. And someone told me that Robert Louis Robert Louis Stevenson had a crush on, or he definitely was in love with Princess Kaiulani. But he went on after he left Hawaii to Samoa, and he, got married there and passed away there. There's a street near Kaiulani Avenue called Tusitala, and the street is named after Robert Louis Stevenson. It's named after him. Because the word Tusitala means storyteller or teller of tales in Samoan, and it was a reference to him. They didn't actually use his name, but it was a reference to him. There's a photograph there of her in Japanese garb. That kind of shows how well traveled she was. So she has a little Japanese umbrella and a kimono. So that's kind of cool. But yeah. So the other photographs are pretty cool because they show photographs of the land as it was prior to all the hotel building, And the same thing with this banyan tree was out. I guess it was off to the side, or maybe out back of Ainahau, where this actual hotel is built. Because I think Ainahau is there on the left. And so I guess they must have cut that tree down. There was another banyan tree at the end of Tusitala, the street Tusitala, which I just told you about. And they say that, she and Robert Louis Stevenson used to tell stories there. He used to tell her stories. He was a storyteller. And at that banyan tree. I don't know if it was this one, though. I know that the tree was when it was cut down, but part of the tree was taken out to one of the other places on the island, and it was just planted there, and so the tree actually does continue on someplace else on the island. I don't know where, but so everybody's got hand sanitizer. Oh yeah, so here we go. We're heading off to the pool. Now this is around 7 o'clock. It's around 7 o'clock, so check this out. It's like there's this cute little waterfall. Very relaxing. Very relaxing. And there's even this little turtle statue. Isn't that cute? And okay, so this is the pool area and the splash bar, the pool bar. And if you look off on the lounge trees, if you look off into the distance there, you'll see they have people who have physical disabilities. Oh, here's that statue. I wonder if that's a Robert Weiland statue. Because Robert Weiland, the guy who does the Wailing Walls, he has sculpture too. He sells sculpture in his galleries. There you go. That little chair there helps people get in and out of the pool. So they have and that's the opening to where you can go out to Kalakaua Avenue. Yeah, so that's the dolphin statue. Another Christmas tree. It's still nice, but it's just it's not as decked out as it usually is for this time of year. That's still nice though. So let's go back to check out that wall again. This is the other side of the wall. There's like a divider in the middle. There's a lady there. She's the front desk agent. Okay, so there's another picture of Princess Kailani. Let's check out over here. By the way, they got these videos running about sanitation. Yeah, keeping it all together and nice and clean. There we go. Okay, so here's this little poster about um, some of the main photographs that are taken. The one on the left up there is the actual house what that once was there, Aina How. Then you have the picture of Princess Kailani as a young girl, teenager, and then you have that banyan tree I was telling you about. I think the number two picture here on the left is just the pathway that led to the house. I think that's what that was. Okay, let's head on out. Let's check it out. Where are we going? Where are we going? Where are we going, man? Oh, okay. So there, if you look on the walls, all the walls are filled with photographs of Princess Kailani. Those are a lot of them are still were the ones that were on the wall out in the front. Here is more close-ups versions of it. Now this is actually this photograph here is actually um, one of her most famous pictures that she's quite known for. Whenever you see photographs of Princess Kailani, it's usually this one. The one with the hat is also that's a big one too, but it's just one of the. I actually got to see the original of those two photographs at the archives. She was just rocking, man. Okay, so what is this? This is the well, we're still in the lobby. This is just an open area. Now, if this was Christmas time, this whole area would be decked out in nice, pretty lights and everything like that. But since they're only at 25% occupancy right now, in terms of visitors, Pikake Hale. So I wonder if that's ballroom. That could be a ballroom, like the doors on the left. I'm not seeing that being a bathroom. I would think that that's a bathroom, but I'm not seeing any signs that says that it is. It might be the opening to a ballroom of some kind. And then let's take a gander somewhere around here. Oh, here. Check that. Let's go check this out here. It's the waiting area. Oh, so I wonder if those are items from Princess Kailani herself. Oh, actually, I would think that anything that belonged to the princess would actually be in the Bishop Museum. But here's some newspaper articles from back in the day. And here, there you go. This is the a chart of the royal lineage of Hawaii. So there were actually two dynasties, the Kamehameha dynasty and then the one with King David Kalakaua. Interesting. And Princess Kailani was part of the David Kalakaua side. So she wasn't exactly directly related to Kamehameha. Oh, see, there are the peacock feathers, and then you have these hat bands, which I thought were cool. These hat bands were made by these little birds that they used to have in Hawaii, but the birds became extinct because they were hunted so badly. But they would, they get these tiny little feathers and they're sewn in for hat bands. It's a very intricate art form. So these things, again, it's not clear to me whether they were actually owned by the princess, but they're probably just examples of the type of jewelry that, the Hawaiians wore and they made. It's part of the, part of the crafts that they made. So that shell right there is like an opihi shell. It's like kind of like a shellfish, and then you scrape out the insides and you eat it, and then you can take the shell and you can shine it up like that. So again, I'm not sure if those earrings are something that Princess Kaiulani actually wore. She might have, or it's maybe something close to it. Let's see. Let's go out. Oh wait, here's something. Here's something. It's more photographs. What we got going? Oh, there you go. There's a that's a backdrop. That is Princess Kaiulani as a child, but it's a backdrop. Let me see. Go down the steps. Oh man, I swear this hotel it's. I wish that it was still doing all the lavish ornamentation. Okay, here's something interesting. This is like a little it's a cape made from feathers from these little birds, as I was telling you about, the way they made the hat bands. This cape is made from those types of feathers, and the Hawaiians had ones that were like full length capes that were made from these feathers. Very intricate details. There's another portrait of the princess, and that's it for today.